Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Chris Flowers. Here's the deal. All right, I'm going to bring on a good friend of mine who worked together for a long time. Her name is Teela Piscatelli, and she's with PNI HCM, and she does payroll, she does healthcare, she does a lot of good stuff. Very essential for business owners. So definitely want to subscribe to this episode. And as always, when we start out the show, I want to thank our sponsors, Litchfield Auto, Phil and his team. They're located in Goodyear. They're at 671 North 137th Avenue in Goodyear. And like I said, I don't care from a Nissan to a Mercedes, makes no difference. Phil and his team are going to keep it on the road. And like I said, at least there's one fair and honest mechanic out there, and they are that. And I've been with them for over 10 years. I recommend anybody to them. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring Teela on here. She's going to turn on her camera and her mic. She's getting there.
Give me 1 second here.
No problem. How you doing?
We'll get you all
Bam.
going. All right, can you see me now?
Well, I can see you now.
Perfect.
What's happening?
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for agreeing to be on the show. Like I said, I greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
We need to hear all about your expertise and everything that you do in payroll and healthcare and things like that. Like I said, here's the deal. It's all about educating people how to start businesses or, people that are already business owners, what's available to them out there that they may not know about, especially,
Sure.
payroll and healthcare, scary world out there. I want to make sure that they get to know you, get to know what you do and, be able to use you as a resource. Like, actually, Teal and I used to work together at Wells Fargo a long time ago. That's where we met. And I said, yeah, she is the definition of a grinder. Let me tell you what, she works her ass off every day, and she's out there working for her clients. She's making sure their people are taken care of. That's when I first met her. That's why I said that's why we stayed connected because she's one of those people like you just want to stay connected to. Good energy, good vibes, work ethic all day long. So I just wanted to see tell us about PNI and what you guys are doing over there, and how you can help out the clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to first say, Chris and I have known each other, like you said, for years. I don't want to date myself, but I think going on like 15. So
Pretty
it,
close, but you were
it
very now. Let's be clear. You're way younger than I am.
I
So
mean, yeah, I was like it was like my first career. And had I known that, this many years later that payroll was going to be my career, never would have thought, right?
right,
So first job in outside sales, I meet you, we work together, crush it at Wells Fargo, like, and it just set the stage for my career today. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. I never would have thought it would have gone this far, but P&I HCM, we are a reseller of iSolve technology. So you're going to see a couple different brands on me today. Um,
nice,
so my
love
boss
it.
was very nice to send me this, and this is very funny because actually my boss today worked at Wells Fargo, and he's now my
Nice.
boss 15 years later again. So that'll tell you how small you can't piss anyone off. You have to produce, right? So it worked out well. But anyway, we're a reseller of iSolve. So the iSolve
What
is the hat, right? To
you
make it
didn't
simple.
you didn't give me that advice because I pissed everybody off at Wells Fargo. You should have told me that when you first came.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have got the job. So luckily
Sorry
I
about
did
that.
something
Please
right.
continue with
Yeah,
your
so
branding. I
I've
apologize.
actually been in the iSolve space, payroll space, payroll space for almost 20 years, to be honest. And iSolve been working them, through 2 years now. And I used to work them directly. P&I is actually a reseller of iSolve. So we have the top technology, which every payroll company says, right? But we're boutique. So that's why I decided in my career that culture is everything to me. I've worked for the Wells Fargo's, I've worked for the ADPs, I've worked for the large companies, and now I've got my business down to a science. And it's really comes down to working with people like yourself, right? Like, okay, I have a deal. Here's the deal, Chris. Can you do the financing? And then later down the road, how can we partner together? So
Yeah,
you never know.
absolutely. Yeah, and again, that's the thing that you always made me look good when I showed up and say, "Hey, who's doing your payroll? You need to talk to Teela." So that you made me look like a more valuable resource than what I already was. Like I said, I said definitely, greatly appreciate that. So okay, so we know you started out in this business young, like I said, first time career, things like that. When I got started in banking, like, I barely knew what a checking account was. I was hired off a construction slab. And within 2 years, I was an assistant branch manager and moved my way up and then got into business banking and the rest of they say is history. But what were some of
Right.
your biggest challenges that you think that you got in, getting into the business and things like explain to people, some of those challenges.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I mean, when I first got into sales, I knew this is it for me, right? Like, I know I'm good at people, but my
Yes,
first
you
eight
are.
months on the job, I didn't know how to sell payroll, right? So they put me on a PIP 8 months in, and then all of a sudden it clicked. And so from then on, I understood payroll and then I understood the value of payroll. And payroll is not the value. Technology is not the value, right? Anybody can come in and go like, oh, I'm a payroll rep. I'm not a payroll rep. So the challenge is honestly finding the need, like the need for people. Everyone needs payroll if you're a business owner. Anyone could refer me in as a broker if they wanted to, but it's going to be trust. So if I get on the call with someone like you, or you introduce me to a client, it's my job then to bring in the right people. And sometimes it's not always me. So you can't do it all. And that's kind of something that I thought was interesting over the years. Like I was a real estate agent. Like you'll see that on my LinkedIn. You can't do a real estate and benefits and do everything and do it right. You've got to figure out what your strengths are. So now what I do is I focus mainly on partners and I find out what's going on in their lives, right? And I don't even go into our technology. Technology is, I mean, like you said, Wells Fargo is a bank account. You didn't even know what that was. Hopefully by now we know what a bank account is.
Yeah, I hope
We've grown
so.
up a little bit.
A little bit.
Um, but but like there's like that thing where it's like, okay, well, a lot of people prefer to use a credit union or a boutique style bank. Well, why is that?
Because they don't want to feel like a number. They want to feel like just so, whatever, throwaway.
Right. You want that person, like you want to be able to pick up the phone, text that person and be like,
Yes.
fix this now, please. Don't make me call 1-800 number and
Yes.
go who knows where. These big companies are only as good as their technology. Outside of that, you're not going to get the service. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of struggles where we're a dime a dozen. What
Mhm.
makes you different? Sell yourself. You can see we're both wearing pink today, which I love. Um, you can probably see my office here a little bit, but like I'm all about branding myself along with the company. So I usually always wear pink. And people come into my office and they're like, "What is this little Barbie?" But it draws attention. And as silly as that may seem, they know when I walk into a room or when if you branded yourself, they're gonna expect you to walk in with some kind of pink something.
For those of you that are listening on the podcast, go to the YouTube channel so that way you can see everything that Teal is talking about. And yeah, when she walks into a room, you're gonna know about it. So that's exactly right. Um, but I want to know, again, I like where you're going, but expound on that a little more. What really sets P and I apart, and like I said, I think what to me it's you personally.
Right.
Like they get to know you and have that relationship.
Honestly, it's not me. It's my okay. So the first introduction is me, right? So that's crucial to this whole process and how we partner together with my partners. Because that's what I focus on is working with people like yourself and making sure that we're, not just you sending me business, I'm sending you business back. Like I want to make sure that I understand what you need. Now, once we get in front of a client, I'll introduce you to the CRO, to my Brian Hayes. Mary Grothy is a motivational speaker. She is amazing. She travels with me. She'll meet you in person. She'll sit down and spreadsheet and talk about your go-to-market strategy. We're not talking about payroll. We're talking your go-to-market strategy. How do we make you grow as a company? For instance, And like I said, Brian Hayes, same thing. Like get him on the phone. We're all a team. We all have different strengths. And so if I was to sit there and say I'm the best salesperson, I would be lying. I'm not. I'm a good people person, right?
Mhm.
So I introduce you to people that you would normally never have access to. And then that goes along, through implementation. You get to meet Ken Vickers, who's the, president basically of our implementation team that runs the whole thing. You get to meet everybody on our team. So having access, but what I would like to say is that, if it was something like I could really give kudos to, like it's showing up. Like I told you, we kind of closed that big deal. It
Yeah.
wasn't even closing a deal. We went to a Super Bowl party. We met his kids. We took his kids out to dinner. That's the way we want to do business. It's all about being a person. No one wants to be sold.
Hey, like I said, brag on it. Tell them the deal you closed.
Yeah, so this is the biggest deal of my career. And you would think I would have hit you a little bit sooner, but they don't come every day.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was the largest deal that we've sold in our company history. We've been around for over
Nice.
20 years. So that tells you a little bit about it. Obviously, I can't go into too much detail, but 35 ENs, huge chain restaurant, $20 an hour is the wages in California right now. So we had to get creative and figure out a way, how do we help this client? Payroll's payroll. How do we help him save money? So we do have a wellness program that we've been kind of throwing around that will offset that cost, and that's for a different day. But like I said, we flew in, my CRO was there, we're all on the phone, and we were able to get this done behind the scenes without him even knowing he was going through a payroll transition. And that's what we want to do. We want to make it as comfortable as possible. And the partner that we're working with is going to benefit because now he can pull all the reports from the top 10 payroll company in the nation. I think we're ranked number 3 as a software company.
Wow. Wow. See, like I said, this is what we try to impart knowledge to people that are either new in business that are just starting out, or people that have been doing business. Like I said, and you touched on earlier the delegation of it. Okay. People think that they're just gonna like, you know, do use, Intuit or whatever, trying to do. It's way more complicated than that, but it doesn't have to be that complicated if you know how to delegate, which we covered in the last show. Delegation is key. Know what you, and you touched on it, which I love. Again, know what your strengths are. You know what your strengths were. Your strengths were sales. Your strengths were people. And you roll with those strengths. And then you have your other partners who, like I said, bring something else to the table. So what I told you, you are important to that because you make the difference because you're the one doing the introductions to all your partners. So, like I said, definitely give kudos to you for that. But I think that's the thing. People have to understand. Business owners, like you gotta learn how to delegate these things. And like I said, and it can get complicated and it can get crazy, but you go the extra mile. Hey, you know what? It's crazy in California right now, but we can help work with you. We'll find that solution for you, which I kind of really love that. So, is there anything else you want to discuss on PNI
Well,
and everything like that?
I do want to say, like, okay, so like I said, we don't, when we come into a room, we're not talking about payroll, right? But the delegation piece is so huge because so many people want to take so much on. The amount of time that we've realized working with an ADP or Paychex as we're taking these big clients on, it is absolutely absurd. If you just trust us and utilize technology and learn it, it takes so much off your plate. You are never going to be a payroll expert. Like I said earlier, I was a real estate agent. I was selling benefits. I was going into 401k. That did not work.
Mm.
Focus on your strength.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
as a business owner, it does not work. Focus on your business and what drives revenue, right? And then let us help you figure out what's working and what's not working. Because a lot of times business owners think that they're saving money and we break it down on a spreadsheet. We're not even talking about anything else other than how long does it take and what is your time worth. So
Love it. So tell us who your customers are. Like I know you just signed this big, massive deal. Big chain restaurant, thing like that, which is awesome. But who is your client base? Who are you working with?
Well, that's the thing is, so I mean, it could be anything from 1 to 7,000 employees in this case. It could be multiple EINs. It could be one company that has 7,000. We actually have a full government division that focuses on just government, which is a
Wow.
completely different model. Most
Wow.
companies, you have to be very, like, I don't deal with that. Again, not my strength, right? So if it's a government contract, I send it over to that division. We also do international payroll. I've never worked for a payroll company that does international. We see it more and more that people are coming from, other countries, and it became a need, and it's going to continue to grow that way. People are going to move their businesses, you know, overseas here and vice versa. And it's not going to change. So we want to make sure that we can help you from everything across the board.
That's awesome. I said, yeah, I definitely appreciate it. So, is there anything, like I said, that we haven't covered that you wanted to get into?
No, I mean, I think that the best thing is people, right? And if we all focus on people and we're all asking the right questions and we make the right introductions at the right time, then we're all going to be successful together. And that's what I hope for us to do, to continue to do together is, gosh, I've known you for years. It's so easy to say, hey, I trust this guy, talk to him, give him a chance. And then it's up to you. You run your business.
Mhm.
And I know you'll do a great job.
Yeah, like likewise, and always back at you too. That's always the same way. So, like I said, people want to get a hold of you, like, tell them how to, reach out, your website, whatever. You give them your contact information, and in case people want to, talk to you a little more about payroll and how to diversify it out.
Sure. So, I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn. There's only one Teela. Let's just be honest. I have not met another one.
True,
If you
true.
find one, I will literally pay you for an introduction so that I can shake their hand, because it's never happened yet. Um, yeah, except for maybe an online superstar, which we won't go into. But anyway, long story short is Teela Piscatelli. It's a pretty uncommon name. I'm on LinkedIn. You'll find that I post a lot about P&I HCM if you wanted to learn more about that. But if you wanted to reach out to me directly, all my information is located on LinkedIn, and that would probably be the easiest way. And from there, I'd be happy to work with you and partner with you. And and if it's not me, then I'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So once again, I just wanted to, thank you again for coming on. Thank you
Cool.
for, taking time to, for, educating the listeners, what it is that you do and, who you are and things like that. Like I said, I appreciate, I know your time is valuable. So, maybe want to make sure you get back to it and keep closing those deals. So,
Thank you. And also, thank you for wearing pink on this call because I would have had to reprimand you. Just kidding.
you gotta, like I said, you gotta give the people what they want, right? So, which is kind of
We
funny
didn't
because
even
like,
call before to
no,
plan
I was literally just going to say, I literally did not even plan it. I did
it.
not even do that. It just worked out. Like, okay, cool. Like,
Well, I love it. You're amazing. If you need anything from me, let me know. And I hope your audience appreciates you and everything you do and your expertise because you are amazing. And you never let anyone down. So,
I try not to. I do my best. All right. Once again, like I said, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll have you on again, before too long, things like that, because payroll's always changing. So like I said, we'll make sure people are staying up to speed on what's going on, and especially all the things like I said, you're doing international stuff, which is yeah, boom. Like, I hadn't heard of that. Like, oh wow, that's cool. So we're gonna have to talk more about that too. So that'd be great.
yeah. And maybe next time we have my CRO come on, like I said, she's motivational. Like she would love to come on here and
Yeah.
just kind of talk about what she does. I mean, she's paid for a living to speak. That's how great she is. And she's sold and owned multiple companies. When she sits down with a business owner, she really gets it. So maybe that would be a good next step. And if anybody wanted to look her up, it's Mary Grothy. Also, Brian Hayes, my boss, has been in the industry forever. So if any of our Wells Fargo peeps are out there listening,
But I say I know that
feel
name.
free to
Yeah.
say hi. Yeah. Comes full circle.
Right on. That's
All
cool.
right.
Thanks so
Thank
much for
you.
your time. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Talk to you
See you
later.
soon. All right.
Bye.
Well, once again, had a fantastic episode. In closing, I just wanted, as always, say, thank you, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for giving me the ability to do this show, saving my soul. I want to say thank you to my friends and family that are supporting me, in this endeavor. Thank you to our sponsors. Most importantly, thank you to all the subscribers. Please, if you haven't gone to the YouTube channel, please go to the YouTube channel. Go to the podcast, subscribe to that, because we're going to have more interviews, more valuable information. And then, like I said, we're just going to, keep this thing rolling. So, like I said, here's the deal. We're going to help you we're going to give you the tools. We're not guaranteeing your success, but we're going to give you the tools. So that way, you can be, that much closer to succeeding in your business.